Всем привет! Сегодня мы поговорим про тему серьезной эксплуатации мигрантов, что случилось буквально где-то неделю-две назад. Про это очень важно поговорить, потому что новая виза Accredited Employer Work Visa, в ней очень много проблем, и это из-за этой причины очень многие мигранты сюда приехали и их просто использовали. Как использовали, что сейчас случилось то, что около 30 мужчин поселили их в одном доме трехкомнатном. И когда они сюда приехали, им обещали работу. Они десятки тысяч долларов за работу заплатили. И когда они приехали, никакой работы нет. Их поселили в этот дом. И у них заканчиваются деньги, а работы нет. Виза их очень сильно... Виза им не дает поменять на другого работодателя. Из-за этого люди идут на протест, потому что сейчас их хотят выгнать с этого дома и оставить просто без ничего. И так вот, группа мигрантов кооперируются и идут на протест, разговаривают с министрами миграции, и сейчас будет что-то меняться. И это не только, вы увидите там, например, люди с Индии, но не только люди с Индии, потому что очень много из Израиля и русских мигрантов сюда приехали, и эксплуатация может быть в разных путей. Это то же самое, что заплатить огромные деньги на учебу, и потом выйти и никакую профессию не иметь или найти работу. Кто-то, что вам что-то обещало, в конце это обещание не пришло, это тоже эксплуатация. Так, давайте поговорим, что сегодня, что там происходит. Послушайте, там женщину, видите, она лицензированный, с лицензией иммиграционный адвайзер. И она выясняет основные причины, что они хотят, чтобы изменилось в иммиграционной системе в 2023 году. И что этим мигрантам нужно изменить, чтобы они смогли продолжить жить дальше, потому что у них это огромнейший кризис, то, что у них случилось. Давайте посмотрим. It's time for you to create life according to your rules. Clater, create life according to your rules.
To thank the businesses and the community around here for their support, allowing us this space and time here. You might think, why here? The minister, Minister Priyanka Radhakrishnan, is the Associate Minister for Workplace Relations, and people that we are standing here and behind me and others who are not here, but we represent them. They're all part of the workforce. Doesn't matter whether someone's a stay-at-home mum and raises children, making good citizens for the future, or whether someone's driving a bus, or someone's a nurse or a teacher, or it doesn't matter what work we do, we're all workers. So the minister here is the Associate Minister for Workplace Relations. Not only that, she's also the Minister for Ethnic Communities. This country is a country of migrants. Unless you're Tangata Whenua, we're all migrants here. So another reason why it makes sense to be outside this office. I think it's been long coming. There was good news this morning that a new pathway to residency will be made available for people who've suffered the war in Ukraine. So we welcome that. But we already have many people, tens of thousands of people who are already here, who need the same, who need to be looked after, who need to be made to feel like equals in this country called Aotearoa. So that's why we're here, and we are hopeful that we will get some more positive news this morning. As you may have all seen on TV3 News, on News Hub about 2 weeks ago, 10 days ago, when the news first broke out, 30, 40 workers living in a 3 to 4 bedroom house, and there were about 5 or 6 houses around Auckland, where each house has around 30 workers. One of my friends here who we work with said, we don't even keep our pets in such horrible conditions, where these workers who've just arrived in Aotearoa, and they're being made to live in such conditions. I understand those workers are in a meeting with the Minister of Immigration, Andrew Little, this morning, and so we also wait very anxiously and eagerly to hear some positive news from there. So as soon as that's available, we'll share that with you. Yeah, like we've got all different communities joining us. We've got friends over there from Tonga, I believe. Thank you. Thank you very much. Malo. We've got people from Bangladesh, we've got people from India, all different regions from India. We've got people who've lived here in Aotearoa for many generations. We've got people supporting here who are not even affected by these issues. So, and also from the number of vehicles who've been tooting, that shows how much community support we have. And the workers that I mentioned earlier that you would have seen on TV3 News a few days ago, they live in such a lovely neighborhood that all the neighbors have rallied around, and they bring them food, they bring them groceries and other items of need and essentials. Yeah, so the public is not opposing any of what we are asking for, and we're not asking for anything that is undoable.
Да, то, что вам нужно понять, что, поймите, Новая Зеландия очень дорогая страна. Когда иммигрант приезжает сюда, даже если у него есть рабочая виза, вот такая Credit Employer Work виза, и у них, в принципе, нету работы, а найти другую работу они не могут, потому что с этой визой они прикованы к этому работодателю, что в их случае работодателя, в принципе, нет, так они не могут зарабатывать никак, и они все свои сбережения потратили, только получить вот эту работу, понимаете? Так они не могут зарабатывать, они не могут еду себе купить, у них нет денег ни на что. Это ужасная ситуация. Сейчас приехали немножко там с детьми, с семьями, а какие-то приехали что-то только одни и десятки таких людей. Что им делать? Понимаете?
So like I said this morning, we had an announcement for Ukrainian and quite easily for the rest of us who are suffering at the moment. So yeah, once again, thank you very much to the businesses and the community here for allowing us this space. And we hope the Minister will show up too, because her office has been informed and staff have acknowledged our presence, and the right thing to do would be to engage with people and hear them out, understand their issues. I'm pretty sure they already understand what the problems are and they know what the solutions are too, but I guess that the right thing to do here would be to engage and hear.
Еще тоже хочу сказать, что одна из хороших вещей в Новой Зеландии, что действительно есть более-менее свобода идти на протест и говорить такие вещи в публике, видите, им это позволяют. Как вы понимаете, в части стран, что мы находимся, открывать рот, в принципе, довольно опасно. Даже в Новой Зеландии, когда здесь был ковид, в принципе, затыкали рты, но я могу сказать, что намного было безопаснее здесь на какой-то протест и что-то говорить, чем в других странах. Так я могу сказать, что касается изменений, кстати, и как бы разговора в публике, в принципе, здесь действительно неплохо. Так это хорошие новости, да.
So I'll just explain what it is that we are practically asking for. So anyone who comes to Aotearoa on a work visa to work here, most people, good, more than 90%, are tied to a single employer. So the employer sponsors their visa or supports their visa. So when that worker arrives here, they can only work for that employer in that one location that is written on their visa. If the employer is abusing them, they can't just walk out and find another job and start working there like the rest of us would. So that's how these workers are being exploited and abused. They are trapped, they are tied, and many of them have been forced to pay tens of thousands of dollars to buy that job, to buy that visa, and then when they arrive here, they are grossly underpaid or the job doesn't even exist, so they have no income. So we are asking for the practice of work visas being tied to a single employer to be stopped. I mean, we can quite easily make that better. All that the minister or the government has to do is, have open work visas. You know, people can come in and work wherever their skill set fits. So people could be potentially tied to skills or jobs that we are finding difficult to fill. For example, there's an acute shortage of medical professionals, nurses, teachers, what have you. So people could come in and work in those jobs, and there are many, many other areas that people could work. Also, amnesty for overstayers is another issue where we have around, I think, 14 to 15,000 people already in Aotearoa who have roots here. This country is home. They have children born here. Those children are part of the communities. They have friends. They go to school. Those people work here, but they don't have visas. So we're asking for this government to provide visas, put those people on a pathway to residency instead of just deporting them or letting them carry on as undocumented workers. And that's another area where we are seeing lots and lots of exploitation. We are also asking the government to stop this visa category, the accredited employer work visa, because that's where in the past 1 year we've seen most exploitation take place. So those are broadly most of our demands. And another one, when COVID hit, our borders closed and people who were not citizens or residents of New Zealand, and if they had taken a short break and were outside New Zealand, they were not allowed to come back. So over time, in the last year or so, many of those people have been allowed to come back, but we still have people who remain stranded outside of New Zealand who once had valid New Zealand visas, but over time their visas have expired. So it's been very cruel on this government's part to not do anything about those workers, and yet we keep bringing in more people when we already have people who were well established here, know how to work here. They were allowed back, they would hit the ground running.
Вот про это я хочу объяснить немножко больше. Что же случилось в 2021 году, в 2022 в ковиде с этими мигрантами? Это просто... Короче, я хочу расскажу факты. Тысячи иммигрантов, что были на статусе временном. Временно, это значит, что не резидент, это значит на рабочих визах. Часть из этих мигрантов могли жить в Новой Зеландии иногда 10 лет. То, что случилось, они уехали за границу, там, ну, разные причины, там, семью проведать, просто погулять, там, выехать, все такое. Так они выехали в феврале-марте 2020 году. Потом пандемия случилась. И что случилось с пандемией? Новая Зеландия закрыла сразу свои ворота и не давала никому заходить. Кто мог возвращаться, в принципе, это только люди, что у них гражданство. Это значит, что сначала даже люди, что у них резидентство, они, в принципе, тоже не могли возвращаться, как я помню. Или, по-моему, это без прививки. Ну, что-то одно из двух. Короче, кто на рабочих визах, он не мог влетать назад в страну. А секундочку. Люди, что на рабочих визах и 10 лет здесь живут, у них здесь дома, у них здесь работы, что их ждут, у них есть машины, у них обязательства, какие-то друзья, что их ждут, сейчас дети же ждут, понимаете? Они не могут вернуться, так получается, они платят дважды. Они платят за дорогую жизнь в Новой Зеландии во время пандемии, и они еще должны платить проживание в стране, что они там находятся. Ну, секундочку, они же в Новой Зеландии живут, у них нет уже работы и заработка за границей. Так что произошло? До сегодняшнего дня многие из этих мигрантов, они не вернулись, потому что часть из них что получилось? Их виза прошла, их работодатель не мог их ждать. Что с их вещами, домами, машинами случилось, тоже непонятно что. Представьте, какая тяжелая ситуация у людей. Они что, они все же вылетели и не могли вернуться? Вы можете представить, как они себя чувствуют, что с ними было? И так до 10 тысяч таких людей, понимаете? И точное число я точно не знаю, но очень много людей таких было. Потом, может, где-то через 2 года открыли можно было приехать людям с прививками, только с прививками, и все равно пробыть 14 дней в отеле в изоляции, и, конечно, заплатить $4000 за каждого человека, за семью, это, конечно, немножко больше. И потом они могли заходить, и не имеет значения, была у них прививка или нет. Кто не надо было прививку, по-моему, только гражданины. Только гражданины, а у кого постоянное резидентство, они не могли прилетать и возвращаться. Вот такое, а потом это сделали, что даже кто резидент может вернуться без прививки, если надо. И потом отменили вот этот отель, и можно было залететь. Это именно когда я уехал с Новой Зеландии, потому что здесь было просто невыносимо с ковидом. Я был в другом месте, а когда освободили, можно было вернуться без отеля, тогда я вернулся. Да, вот это вам нужно немножко знать, потому что очень тяжелые времена были в Новой Зеландии после 2020-го. Я вот уверен, как и везде, но в Новой Зеландии тоже хватило что прожить.
Once again, so we request the government to bring offshore stranded migrant workers back as well. And generally, it's been quite difficult for people to stay here long term. So most migrants, when they come here, they come here for better opportunities, better jobs. They escape places that don't have much for them. Most of us are not rich. If we were, we would be happy in our own places. We wouldn't come to the other side of the world. So over the years, the pathways to residency, where people can meet certain criteria and then become residents here and live here permanently, those rules have been made more and more strict, and also the rules have been changed so frequently that people are on a pathway to meet a certain set of rules, and then those rules change, and then that goal is out of people's reach. So we're also asking for the government to make that easier and more streamlined, because we still have a lot of people here who call this country home. They are part of our workforce. They live in our neighborhoods. They are our friends, and they do essential work here. And in lockdowns, most of those people were essential workers, and now we're punishing them by not letting them stay here permanently when this country is home for them too. So we need better, more streamlined, easier, reachable pathways to residency. So these are the things we are asking the government. Yeah, I've already spoken to that. Yeah, exploitation, which is happening because workers are being tied to a single employer. So yeah, those things need to be looked at. I know the minister has announced a review into that work visa scheme that was announced last week. So we've had plenty of reviews in the past. April this year, the Productivity Commission's report was released, and one of the findings was that migrant workers are exploited when their visas are tied to single employers. So, hello, what do we need to do? We need to free those workers. Going back to around 2018, the then Labour coalition government instigated a review into, they got university researchers who do really good work around migrant exploitation. They asked them to investigate how exploitation happens. 6 months later, after thousands of interviews with migrant workers, with organizations like ours who are the voice, with unions, with some employers, about half a dozen findings. One of the findings there was also like workers are exploited when they are tied to single employers. So I really don't understand how many more reviews need to happen before the government will make the changes that are required. So I think the government needs to stop the research and the reviews into this, because we all know what the issue is, and we all also know what the fix is here. And that solution has been presented to the government many, many times in the last few years by many organizations, organizations like the CABs, the Citizens Advice Bureaus, that the mayor of this city wanted to cut funding from. Thankfully, we protested and were able to stop the mayor. citizens advice bureaus get so many migrants in need walk through their doors around same issues like immigration issues, exploitation issues. So this has become a crisis, and this is an epidemic issue that needs absolute urgent attention and an urgent solution. And also we will not accept excuses like that it's not enough time to do something this side of the election, because that's being used as an excuse quite a lot. You know, if, like I said, very good that the Ukrainians will have the pathway to residency, very good, we welcome that. If that could be done with a stroke of a pen, the rest can also be done in the same way. We don't need to wait for the election or the other side of the election. We need action, and we need our requests met now.
Now.
When migrants' rights are under attack,
Stand up, fight back!
when migrant rights are under attack,
Stand up, fight back!
stand up,
Fight back!
stand up,
Fight back!
fight, fight, fight back.
Fight back!
Kia ora, namaste, assalamu alaikum, और प्यार भरी सत श्री अकाल जी. Today I'm angry, sad, emotional. I got a lot of different emotions going through me because I don't know why this government has turned a blind eye on these vulnerable migrants. You know, they apologize for the dawn raids, but it's still happening indirectly. There's migrants' homes getting busted into by these immigration officers. Even at the airport, on daily basis, I see people, voiceless migrants, looking into my eyes.
You can say here the customers. You can't say them the migrants, say them the customers of New Zealand, immigration.
We'll give you the mic, brother. You know, they want to talk to me. Their eyes are crying for help. They know who we are. They know that we're there to support, but because they've been arrested and their arms are like this at the back, they want to talk, but they can't. They want an opportunity of living in this country. And we strongly believe that they deserve an opportunity of living in this country because they have not only invested hours, they have invested their time, souls into the economy. When you look around you, there's migrants working everywhere. From when you go into a restaurant, the person making your food, the person serving your food is a migrant. And about this accreditation visa, that has just made it worse for the newcomers. I think you guys have all seen on the news 37 people living in a 3-bedroom home. What a disgrace. That is a shame. That is a shame on us. We came into this country because this country is a beautiful country. Okay.
Sorry to cut you short, Cher. So that's Cher from Migrant Rights Network, another organization who works alongside us. So we're going to put on the mic through phone Mandeep Singh Bella, who is from UNIMEC, a migrants unit within First Union. He was at the meeting with Andrew Little and the workers in those two houses. He has an update for us.
Thank you everyone for coming together to support these migrants. And I just wanted to share the message of unity and solidarity. So over these past 2 weeks, we've been trying to help these migrant workers who are in crisis, and we know how big of a problem this accredited employer work visa scheme is. And since this story has come out, a lot of community organizations and employers have come forward to offer their help as well, and that is already a win for us in terms of how unity works. But in saying that, we have been also working with the ministers to meet with these workers as well. And today we met with Immigration Minister Andrew Little, who has committed that he will work with his advisors urgently to seek advice on extending their migrant exploitation protection visa. So it's going to be as soon as possible. In fact, this is the first thing on the agenda on Monday morning. So he has committed that he's going to look into it in favorably, and is also committed to look at the accommodation need as well. So this is already a win, and I want to thank every single person and organization which has supported these migrants and shown how unity can actually make a big change. So thank you everyone for standing together for migrants.
Hello. So yeah, the update there was that the minister is seeking urgent advice from the officials and advisors to extend the 6-month migrant exploitation visa to 12 months. So hopefully we'll find out on Monday. So that's where someone's been exploited and they make a report to MB. And if that report is found to be credible, they will then allow the person to go onto this open work visa. So that's a good start. As soon as we have more on Monday, we will share that with everybody. So thank you, Minister, I guess, for doing that. Should have been done a long time ago, but never late then. Okay, so we also have some supporters with us who have been supporting campaigns to help migrant workers over the years, many times. I'm going to request Chris Sullivan to come and share a few words with you. Chris is from the Catholic Church out in Pakuranga. Over to Chris.
Thank you, Anu. Kia ora tātou katoa, malawale, namaste. I was born here in this country. My stepfather was an immigrant worker from England in the 1970s, and he came out here and worked. And he was allowed to work for any employer. He wasn't bound to stay with the same employer. He was free to leave that employer if he was unhappy or if he was being ripped off and go and work for another employer. He was free to work for whoever he liked in this country. And when he came here, once he met the criteria, he was granted permanent residence in this country. And he lived the rest of his life here and made a wonderful contribution to our country. That is the New Zealand that I know. That is the New Zealand that I grew up in. That is the New Zealand the way it used to be. But unfortunately, things have changed. One of my workmates is a migrant worker, an engineer in our company, and she came and worked in our Auckland office. We needed an engineer in our Christchurch office in the South Island. And she said, yeah, I'll go down to Christchurch and work there. I'll be happy to. So she went down and worked in Christchurch, and the next thing our company found out there was a problem with the immigration department because the condition of her visa was that she wasn't allowed to leave Auckland. How ridiculous is that? Shame. I am very concerned about the exploitation of migrant workers that has been going on in this country for too many years now. We need to keep organising like this, keep publicising the issue, keep raising it and keep putting pressure on politicians to fix it, because it is a serious and a grave injustice. And it's not only an injustice for migrant workers themselves and their families and their communities, but it's an injustice for all of us, because as long as one section of workers are oppressed and denied their rights, that tends to lower the wages and the working conditions and the ability to bargain of the entire workforce. As the old trade union saying goes, and it's true, an injury to one worker is in fact an injury to all. So this is an issue that involves not only the migrant community, but all people in this country. Finally, I'm a Christian, and our faith, our Christian faith, calls me to stand with migrant workers. Founder of our Christian faith, Jesus was a refugee. He had to flee Israel and go and live in Egypt. And his stepfather, St. Joseph, was a migrant worker himself. And he did what his people had done generations before. Left Israel at a time of famine, went down to Egypt where there was work and food and people could live and raise their family. That whole tradition of migrant workers is very much a part of the Jewish and the Christian faith. So I'm just here to stand with my fellow brother and sister workers today and to support those who are organising to demand justice for you. Good on you. May God bless you all in the work of the Lord.
When migrant rights are under attack, stand up, fight back. When migrant rights are under attack, stand up, fight back. When migrant rights are under attack, stand up, fight back. 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 What do we want? Justice. When do we want it? No. What do we want? Justice. When do we want it? No. What do we want? Justice. When do we want it? No.
Thank you, Chris. Next up, I am going to invite, he's a migrant himself, came here as an international student, has done the journey up to residence and has walked in all your shoes and feels the pain. So I'm going to invite Ricardo Menendez March, MP with the Green Party. Ricardo.
Kia ora koutou. Awesome to see so many people coming out with a really clear call to decouple work visas from single employers to end migrant exploitation, to grant amnesty for overstayers. And the message we want to send to government on behalf of the Green Party is that the time is now to take decisive action to end migrant exploitation. Enough of the reviews, enough of tinkering around the edges. Enabling migrant exploitation is a political decision. We have had the unions, researchers, migrants themselves, an advocacy group who have been clear that tying visas to a single employer causes problematic power dynamics. The Greens in our manifesto have prioritized immigration as one of the issues that we want to be able to negotiate in the next government, and this does include decoupling work visas from single employers. We're going to keep a close eye on the extension of the migrant exploitation protection visa. I just want to say that this is a game that happened only because of the advocacy that you all have made. Because the stories of migrant exploitation in the news come and go, but the advocacy remains. And we also want to see greater support for people in those visas for things like counseling and employment services. Because it's not just enough to go on an open work visa. When you've experienced modern day slavery conditions, people need additional support. So we've raised that with Andrew Little before, and we'll continue raising this now. So I just want to say kia kaha to all of you. The Greens are right behind you. And if Labour doesn't commit to this before the election, we're going to make sure that we prioritize migrant exploitation in any future government that we're part of. Kia ora.
Yeah! Thanks, Ricardo. So we've also been fighting for amnesty for overstayers, and more recently we've been working jointly with other community groups. One of those groups being Aotearoa, Tongan Aotearoa Response Group. So we now have Rocky here, Brother Rocky, from that group, who will share his thoughts with you. Rocky.
Go, Rocky!
Hey everybody, great to be here. For me, if you're a Pacific Islander, especially if you're Samoan, Tongan or Fijian, even if you're a Kiwi born, there's a very high chance that your parents, your uncles, aunties before them, went through this very same mission you go through now. And I've never been an overstay, nor a migrant worker. Well, my parents were. They went through the same damn thing. And it's still going on. And what is, I just read something this morning about there's a pathway for residency for people from Ukraine. Okay, I feel bad for the war that's going down, yeah, sure. You know, but why do they get special treatment? Because they're having a war? You know what I mean? I don't get it. We're in a war. And I hate to say it, but there's a racial stigma stuck to this whole thing. And yeah, I just hope that some more of my Pacific Island brothers and sisters are here together to stand united, because yeah, we've all been through this at one stage or another. If we don't, our families are. So yeah, proud of the people. That's all I can say. Thank you.
Thanks, Rocky. So in 2021, you will have all seen the apology for the dawn raids that happened in the 1970s, mostly against Tongans, Samoans, Pacific Islanders at the time. And even at that time, we were protesting outside the Auckland Town Hall all day long, asking the Prime Minister to back that apology with meaningful action. That action being give amnesty to around 14,000 people who are here without visas, and most of those people are from Tonga, China, India. And then recently we've seen that the dawn raids have continued, so that kind of makes the apology meaningless. So yes, we will continue to fight and work together with other community groups until we get amnesty for overstayers. And like I keep repeating what we've seen this morning, if that can happen, and amnesty can happen, and it could happen today if there was political will to do so. So,
what do we want? Justice. When do we want it? Justice. What do we want? Justice. When do we want it? No. When migrant rights are under attack,
stand up, fight back.
When migrant rights are under attack,
stand up, fight back.
When migrant rights are under attack,
stand up, fight back.
Stand up,
fight back.
Stand up,
fight back.
Stand up,
fight back.
Stand up,
fight back.
Now, what do we want?
Justice.
What do we want?
Justice.
What do we want?
Justice.
When do we want it?
No.
What do we want?
Justice.
When do we want it?
No.
You know, the minister has said that there will be, he said it ages ago that they're considering amnesty for overstayers. He made a statement that he's considering it. And now what is he saying? After elections? No. We're not going to wait till elections. We want the amnesty now. There's enough of these false promises. Enough of putting a small spark in these voiceless migrants. You know, when the government tells or makes a public statement, these migrants, they have this little hope spark in them. Finally, we can settle in this country. Finally, we can go out openly and shop for our family. But it's been what? Months. It's been months. And the amnesty, we want it now. That's it. We want an announcement, not after the elections. And we want amnesty now. And this accreditation visa. Government knew from day one, that this is going to cause a bloody crisis in New Zealand. And that's exactly what it's done. Up to 37 migrants living in under one roof.
And they're just the ones nearly sorry to cut you off. You shouldn't be saying that my oversteer, you should be saying humans.
Humans.
We came here from 2012, study here, double the diplomas, level 5, level 6, which is today, the government announces is rubbish. Where's the fees? Where's the fees? We spent it that time, where National has started, John Key has started. That time there was no quality over quantity. So 2 years gone for nothing. 45,000 today in 2023 is rubbish. Where's the fees of the humans, of the migrants who came here? Is gone for nowhere.
Да, про это он говорит, что несколько лет назад, вот кто приезжал сюда учить диплому уровень 5 и 6, они могли получить потом открытую рабочую визу, а потом законы изменились-то, вот, и люди, что учились, они, в принципе, учились и платили деньги просто впустую, и в конце концов они как бы ничего не получили. Это, например, я думаю, что он попал в эти ножницы, и это часть из, почему он очень сильно расстроен, потому что он просто учился и ни работу, ни визу, и он застрял, ему больно. Я понимаю его.
We have so much to say in R21. People who just came here in 3 years, they got the residence. What about the people who have been here in 2 decades? They have no rights. They can't even say their things.
Let's not divide ourselves up.
We're not dividing.
Yeah, it's not them and us, it's not Ukrainians and rest. Immigration is already very good at dividing us up into visa categories. So I feel your pain, I hear your passion, but I do not support most of what you have said, so I just wanted to make that clear. We are not against what the Ukrainians have been given this morning. If someone is from a war-torn area, they have a pathway through refugee and all.
Они говорят про это, что в этот день, несколько дней назад, вот украинцы-беженцы, что приехали в Новую Зеландию на временной визе, это вот сейчас им дадут возможность получить здесь резидентство и остаться постоянно. И он говорит, а почему нам это не дают? Я хочу только одну вещь сказать, что есть разница между иммигрантами для работы и беженцы, что у них случилось полностью несчастье. И у них вся жизнь в разгроме. Конечно, я понимаю, что мигранты приезжают из Индии, из каких-то мест тоже не за сладкой жизни иногда, да. Но я приехал, я думаю, за сладкой жизни. Но другие мигранты есть причины, почему они приезжают. А когда это беженцы, это уже совсем другой статус. И это то, что я хочу как бы сказать по этому поводу.
So it is not them against us. The workers united will never be divided. The workers united will never be defeated. That's the mantra we have, and that's our kaupapa, and that's what we work from. So. So, like I said earlier, we also have recently discovered there are workers on this bonded visa from Bangladesh as well. So today we have a group with us, Bangladeshi Skilled Migrant Association of New Zealand. I'm going to invite Mr. Atal Rahman to say a few words on behalf of the Bangladeshi workers who are suffering, and going forward I think we'll be working together to support those workers too.
Hi, hello everyone, good afternoon. So I am very happy to announce on behalf of Bangladesh Skilled Migrant Association of New Zealand, I am standing here on behalf of Bangladeshi community people, and we were on Stephen Street. That's what they've ended up on. And these new migrants that are coming in, you know, what right does it give these bloody employers to charge tens of thousands of dollars to sell work to these voiceless migrants? It's a shame that these employers are doing it to these migrants, and we're all affected by it. We are all affected by it. Because now, even the New Zealand citizen and the permanent residency people's jobs are at stake because cheap labor is being brought into this country. We need to put a stop to this. And this is why we're here together today. And what about those brothers and sisters that went to visit their loved ones when they were stuck offshore? From day one, the government knew that they had the skills. And they're still firmly stuck offshore. So enough talking. You know, Labour, I'm saying there's enough talking. There's a reason why we're here. There's a reason why I'm standing in the front of Priyanka's office today. Because I remember standing in the rain campaigning for this woman. Why? Because I used to support her. She said she would definitely raise the voices for the migrants. But where is her voice? I have not seen one statement from her. The migrants are suffering. There's migrants sleeping out on streets. But where's her voice? When migrant rights are under attack. Come on guys, we have to be louder. Eh? When migrant rights are under attack. Stand up, fight back. When migrant rights are under attack. Stand up, fight back. When student rights are under attack. Stand up, fight back. Stand up, fight back. Stand up, fight back. Stand up. Fight back. Stand up. Fight back. The migrants united.
We'll never be defeated.
The migrants united.
We'll never be defeated.
The migrants united.
We'll never be defeated.
What do we want?
Justice.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Justice.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Justice.
When do we want it?
Now.
Thank you, Sheikh. So yeah, we will be wrapping up soon, but before that, we now have the group of workers that you've all seen on TV news. the group of workers who were in a meeting with the immigration minister this morning are also with us. So I'm just going to get one of them to speak with you and share what was said this morning. I understand that the minister is considering very urgently that 6-month exploitation work visa will be extended to 12 months to free up people from bondage and from slavery. So I'm just going to pass on to one of the workers who's been, I said they've all been very, very brave, very strong to front up media, to be talking to authorities and becoming part of investigations so that we can get justice for them. So I'll just hand over, I'm not going to name any names, so I'll just hand over to one of the workers who's been able to do it.
Hi everyone. I am very, very thankful everybody just supporting us here, and my name is Prasad. I am from India. I just have been here in New Zealand like 3 months ago. We are in a difficult situation. Depends upon the migrants are not having any work here. The people are bringing here and making some difficult situations we are now. And what are the situations we are facing now, and the people who are supporting here, I'm really, really thankful to each and everyone supporting us, mainly Mandeep Bhai and Anu ma'am and Bharti Bhaiya. They all supported us and the media people as well as. And I'm really thankful to everyone, each and everyone. We need the only thing that we need the justice for every exploitations, migrants. Everyone has to be a smile and support from each and every person that who is supporting us. And today we have discussed with the minister in Papakura Crossroads Methodist Church. Just now we came from the meeting and we have some positive responses from them. Initially they said like 6 months, but it's going to be a 1-year work visa, open work visa to get everyone. So in that case, if we got 1-year work open visa, each and every cases have been very smiley and we can work. And the people who support us, really, really thankful to each and everyone. And we need to fight for the justice. Everybody, are you ready for the justice? Yes. Are you ready for the justice? Yes. Good. Everybody, God bless you. And thank you one more time, each and every person, the media people, and Bharti Bhai, and brother, and Anuji. Thank you so much. You all have a blessed day. God bless you all.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And I just wanted to acknowledge the good employers out there as well. We've met so many genuine, good, kind-hearted employers in the last few days wanting to offer work to these exploited workers. However, a lot of them haven't been able to help because of the restrictive immigration criteria that they would need to meet as employers, and because of bullshit wage thresholds that they would have to meet and that don't actually ever happen in real life. So with these workers now being able to access 1 year of open work visa, that also helps those employers who are finding it difficult to find, who are not able to find those workers. So I think it makes a win-win situation all around. So we welcome that news, and then we are hopeful that if we keep campaigning, we stay connected, we stay together, we stay united, we can make the minister bring in some more changes very, very soon. So the key to success here is about staying together. And I know sometimes things get too difficult and then some of us do cave in, we're all human, but overall, over the long run, if we can stay together in this and think about all of us, every person, rather than just about, okay, what's going to happen to me? What's going to happen to my visa? Let's think as a collective group, and then we will be able to get all our... Thank you, brother. We hear you. Thank you. We will get all our demands and requests met if we keep going together. So thank you very much, everybody. Stay strong, stay safe, stay together, stay connected, and we will keep you updated with everything else that is going to happen in the next week or so. And now I think last speaker, Bharti Kaloti, who will probably address you in Punjabi because...
Да, последние слова, что я хочу сказать, что они делают очень хороший прогресс, и вам нужно понимать, что, еще раз, иммиграция и эксплуатация мигрантов, она происходит во всех странах. Я уверен, даже стран, что вы находитесь, к вам приезжают какие-то люди из других стран, и вы на них смотритесь, как будто бы откуда он, что он здесь делает, что он сюда заработает. Вот представьте, когда вы эмигрируете, на вас смотрят тоже так же самое. Конечно, если у вас нету какая-то супер-дупер такая престижная работа. И то, что произошло сейчас, это действительно... я даже не знаю, как это назвать. Но я очень позитивно, что хорошие изменения произойдут. И увидимся как бы в следующий раз. It's time for you to create life according to your rules. Clater, create life according to your rules.